Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Brian and Jim here from DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, and today we are bringing you the top 10 NES baseball games. I know. What the hell are we doing still talking about baseball games? Well, we're pretty much at the end of our trial of writing up the reviews for all those games, so we wanted to give you our list so you can avoid all the rest.
Oh, I'm so sick of baseball games. Alright. Look, we're doing a top 10. There's about 20-some baseball games on the NES. So even in this top 10, not all of them are going to be home runs, one could say.
Damn it!
But we're going to give it to you anyway, and these are all at the very least playable, and some of them are pretty decent until we get to the really good ones.
Number 10.
Starting off, Tecmo Baseball. Now, as soon as you hear Tecmo in the NES, you're going to think quality. And this has quality in places, but it lacks enough, let's just say, polish. Graphically, the game's pretty damn good. It's got a lot of character to it, it's got the cutscenes in it like you'd expect from a Tecmo game, and you know what? It sounds pretty good as well. Not quite as good as Tecmo Bowl or Super Bowl, but it holds its own charm. Don't get us wrong, this game is not unplayable. It can actually be kind of fun, but it's just not as crisp as the other games. It's a little stiff in places, some things will piss you off. Overall, it's a fine enough package, but that's why it just cracks the top 10.
Number 9.
Alright, so coming in at number 9, we have Bases Loaded 3. We were kind of dumbfounded to find out that this is a really popular series, because we played 1 and thought, it's okay. 2 sucked, 3 was the best, and 4 was just as bad as 2. This game, it does boast some nice things. You have some different stadiums to pick from. You can choose your whole lineup, whether you like it or not. That was actually kind of annoying to us, but whatever. The graphics were probably the best of the series, although the one common thing they all shared is really annoying control, the behind the pitcher view, which just made it unbearable to play, and the field work. Now, in this one, as you see right here, it's very detailed compared to the earlier games, but it's way too zoomed in and still not intuitive on where you're running. That's a common problem with a lot of these NES games, but anyway, Bases Loaded 3, it's the best of the Bases Loaded bunch.
Number 8.
Alright, next up, Little League Baseball Championship Series. Now, this game was made by SNK, so they already had a hit on their hands with baseball stars, which, who knows if that's on this list?
It is!
God damn. Alright, well, so much for suspense. Anyway, this is a game that it looks good, especially compared to a lot of the games, the influx of games that came out in 1990. It sounds pretty damn good, and while it looks a little simpler, it actually keeps it looking crisp. Presentation-wise, we liked it. And actually, gameplay-wise, it's not bad. It's just we're not fans of the Little League rule set. The 6 innings, the substitutions, all the weird little things about it kind of took away from what we normally expect from a baseball game. And I liked it a little more than Brian did, but it still has its rough spots. Some parts are still a little too zoomed in. Sometimes controlling the fielders can be a little confusing. It's not as intuitive as you would want a game to be. It's still a fine package, and if you find it and you like baseball, you should definitely pick it up. But don't spend too much on it.
Number 7.
Alright, so coming in at number 7, we have Bad News Baseball. And surprise, surprise, it's another game from Tecmo. Now this game, we actually really enjoyed the presentation. Sure, the graphics, they might be a little muddy compared to some of the other baseball games on this list. The music in general, it's upbeat and it's okay, but after, 9 innings, you're gonna get pretty goddamn tired of it. We did enjoy the control, as this was one of the smoothest ones we've seen. The scaling of the ball when you hit into the outfield, it's really nice, and it allows you to actually, move your outfielders like you have good control of them. Surprise, surprise. The only last thing I want to say about this game that's kind of weird is, why the hell are there bunny umpires?
Number 6.
Alright, up next, Legends of the Diamond. The gimmick in this game? Well, all the teams are made up of some of the biggest names ever to hit baseball. Got guys like Babe Ruth, Steve Carlton, you get the idea. This game may not be the prettiest around, but it also is nice and it's bright and colorful enough. The music, while not the best, it's still upbeat and, it keeps you in the game and it doesn't really get annoying. Where this game got the most points from us though was in the control, and a big thing that this game had was the little arrow that pointed and showed what player you're controlling at that time. I know it's a small touch, but trust me, we've played enough of these games where we spend too many seconds just wondering who the hell we're using. Overall, it's a decent baseball game. We actually do like this game. If you find it, once again, it's fun, give it a shot.
Number 5.
Alright, so we're down to the top 5, and starting us off is going to be Baseball Stars, brought to us by SNK. I know, you're starting to see a lot of duplicates from the same companies. Well, this game really deserves to be on this list, and to be honest, most people, if they do a top 10 baseball list, it's probably on there. Now, from reviews we've read online, people love the shit out of this game. And don't get us wrong, it's good. We just don't think it's great. There's some things we do love about it, though. This was probably the first baseball game that allowed you to create your own team, adjust stats because you win money throughout your season mode, first game where you could play as females. And look at teams like this. Kooky little monster names. I love gimmicks, as you'll see with the rest of this list. And things like that will always get better points for me. From a gameplay standpoint, it's about as typical as all the other games of the time, so it didn't do anything spectacular there, but we did enjoy the music. It was upbeat, it was nice, and all around, it's just a very solid game. You really can't go wrong with this one.
Number 4.
At number 4, we have Base Wars from the Cyber Stadium series. When you look at it, and when you listen to it, you start to think to yourself, this kind of reminds me of Konami. Well, guess what? It is. Ultra Games was just their way of getting around Nintendo's third-party rules. Now, from a pure gameplay standpoint, for the most part, it's a baseball game. But it throws in a twist, and that is the close plays at the plates. You know what you do then? You fight each other. Depending on the kind of player you are, let's put it this way. I got the hang of it right away, and it took me a few innings, but eventually I got the hang of it. When you don't know what you're doing, you're going to be pissed. But once you do, you're going to have some really fun, really intense fights to try to get that base. The graphics, while the colors are a little, I guess almost monochrome for the players, the detail in each of the different kind of robots is intense. And the cutscenes you get in the game are really friggin' cool and unique, especially for baseball games. It's a game with a lot of personality, it controls well enough, and it's just unique enough that we had to put it in the top part of this list. If you see it, definitely play this one.
Number 3.
Coming in at number 3, oh my god, it's an LJN game! Start the freak out, but trust us, MLB is actually a really good baseball game. We had our doubts too. The second we saw that fucking rainbow at the beginning of the game, we were terrified. Don't forget, we played through their NFL game, so we figured they fucked up sports games just as bad as all the other games they did. But guess what? This game, it just got baseball right. There's nothing that stands out specifically that makes this game amazing. I mean, you'll look at these graphics, the sound. No, it's not stellar. It just, the control is really easy. There's a super fun mechanic when you're pitching that you can curve the ball. Kind of like curving the bullet and won it. Damn it! I'm not a baseball fan, but I still manage to have fun with this. And if you're a diehard baseball fan, especially of this time, then you're going to love that they're the first officially licensed baseball game, so you can play as all your favorite teams. You really can't go wrong with this one. If you need to just get some baseball in your system off the NES, this is definitely a way to go.
Number 2.
Alright, coming in number 2. We're almost there, folks. We have RBI Baseball. Now, this game's got Atari and Namco behind it in its name, so you're going to expect some quality, and this game's got it. Now, we're going to say it right now. It's definitely not the best looking, definitely not the best sounding. At times, it can be slightly glitchy, but it's a game that just works. And that's what really counts at the very end. It plays well, it's very smooth, it does everything just right where you feel like you have more control with it than you do in most of the other baseball games. Now, it doesn't have the little touches, the little personality. Sure as hell it doesn't have a lot of the gameplay options, but we just found ourselves having a lot of fun with this game. And it's a shame that the later games in the series went in such a different direction, and they've just really screwed it all up because it doesn't control nearly as well. So, even though this series was, in our eyes, a one and done as far as quality goes, it's definitely the one to check out, and that's why we had to put it on our list.
Number 1.
Alright, so coming in at number 1, we have Baseball Simulator 1000. We had no idea what to expect from this game, and oh boy, were we in for one pleasant-ass surprise. Not only does this game actually control really well, and it has good music and pretty decent detail for a baseball game at time, it throws this awesome gimmick at us that you have ultra moves for your pitchers and batters. I could go on and on about explaining about how awesome they are, but instead click this link. I made a whole video dedicated to showing you guys all of those pitches and bats because we just loved it that much. It adds a whole new element of strategy and fun to these baseball games. I mean, still, I think my favorite one from that video is this bat right here. You fucking send the catcher flying into a wall, and it's just hilarious. Either way, we're getting off topic, but they had a couple different stadiums, and you can even play baseball in space. If you throw a baseball game in space, you're going to get points from us. So I don't care what kind of diehard baseball fan you are. If you can just forego playing as people you have no idea who they are, and you can just have fun with a baseball game, you will not go wrong with it. We highly, highly suggest if you find this at a flea market, pick it up. And guess what? This is kind of an unknown title to a lot of people's top 10 list. You're not going to see this one, so you can get this game pretty cheap. As always, guys, we want to thank you very much for watching our videos and subscribing to us and hitting like all the time and giving us comments. We love all the feedback, so keep it coming. See you next time, guys. Cheers.